Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've just finished exploring Daniel's dramatic encounters with kings and lions and stories that teach us about humility and faithfulness. But now the book of Daniel takes a very sharp turn. We're moving from the history to prophecies to the past and the future. So get ready, because we're about to uncover some of the most profound and mysterious visions in all of the Bible. Today we're taking on Daniel chapters 7, 8, and 9. But before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to share a resource with you that I think is incredibly helpful in understanding the book of Daniel, and especially these last 6 prophetic chapters. It's a book by Amir Tsafati. He's a Jewish believer who explains in an easy-to-read and understandable way. And this book, Discovering Daniel, you can find it on Amazon or at your local Christian bookstore, or directly from his ministry, Behold Israel. I'll leave a link in the description below. And just for full disclosure, Set Sail or Grace Harbor, we don't get anything from the selling of this book. It's just a resource I want to share with you. So, chapter 7, it's a mind-bending experience for Daniel and for us. It's the first of his own visions, and it happens during the reign of King Belshazzar, the king we just met, learned the lesson the hard way in chapter 5. But this time, it's not a dream of a king, it's a dream for Daniel, and it's full of symbolism. Daniel sees a great sea churning, and out of it comes massive beasts, each one representing a different kingdom. The first is like a lion with wings, symbolizing the Babylonian Empire. The second is a bear, raised up on one side with 3 ribs in its mouth, representing the Medo-Persian Empire. The third is a leopard with 4 wings and 4 heads, and this is a symbol of the swift and divided empire under Alexander's reign. And then the fourth is a terrifying, frightening, powerful beast with teeth of iron, representing a kingdom so different and destructive that it can only be described as a beast of its own kind. If you recall Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the statue in chapter 2, it's also a representation of these same empires. I'll throw up a comparison chart so you can see this visually on your screen. Daniel is deeply distressed by this vision, especially by the final beast and the little horn that sprouts up out of his head speaking boastful words against God. But then the scene swiftly changes from earthly to heavenly. Daniel sees the Ancient of Days, a magnificent figure representing God, seated on his fiery throne. A court has convened, and books are opened, and judgment is rendered. And the fourth beast is destroyed, and something amazing happens. One like the Son of Man approaches the Ancient of Days, and is given an everlasting dominion, glory, and a kingdom that will never be destroyed. This is a key moment. This Son of Man, the figure, is a direct link to Jesus Christ, who has used this very title himself. The vision in chapter 7, it's a promise. It's a promise that no matter how powerful, destructive, or terrifying earthly empires become, they're only temporary. God is on the throne, and he will establish an eternal kingdom led by the Messiah. Now, let's move on to chapter 8. The scene's a bit different, but the prophetic theme continues. This time, Daniel sees a vision of the Ural Canal. He sees a ram with 2 horns, one taller than the other, charging and conquering everything around it. The angel Gabriel explains to him that this ram represents the kings of Media and Persia. But then a goat with a single horn prominent between its eyes appears from the west, moving with incredible speed. It attacks the ram and completely shatters the 2 horns and trampling them under his feet. This goat, Gabriel explains, is the king of Greece, and the large horn is the first king. This is a clear prophecy about Alexander the Great's swift conquest of the Persian Empire. But the story doesn't end there. At the height of his power, the large horn on the goat is broken off, and in its place, 4 smaller horns grow. This represents the division of the great Alexander's empire into 4 lesser kingdoms at his death. He divided it amongst 4 of his generals. From one of these, a little horn emerges. This is the horn of another tyrannical king who becomes powerful, even attacking the Prince of Hosts. Now, this figure is widely understood to be Antiochus Epiphanes, the king who viciously persecuted the Jews in the 2nd century BC, profaning the temple and trying to stamp out their faith. This vision ends with the prophecy that the sanctuary would be cleansed after 2,300 evenings and mornings. Chapter 8 gives us more details. It confirms the progression of the world powers from the perspective of God's people. It's a reminder that even when God's people are facing a terrible persecution, God knows their struggle. He has a plan, and He knows the end of the story. Now, for chapter 9, arguably one of the most significant prophetic chapters in the entire Bible, it's the first year of Darius, the king of the Medes. The 70 years of captivity that Jeremiah, the prophet, had foretold is nearing their end. Daniel, a faithful student of the scriptures, realizes this. Humbled and penitent, Daniel turns to God in a powerful, beautiful prayer of confession. He doesn't just confess his own sin, but the sins of the entire nation. He acknowledges God's righteousness and pleads for mercy on Jerusalem and its people, asking God to restore them. Now, while Daniel is still praying, and the angel Gabriel appears to him, Gabriel reveals a breathtaking prophecy known as the 70 weeks. Now, this prophecy is God's answer to Daniel's prayer, and it's much bigger than just the end of the 70 years of captivity. Gabriel explains that 77s are decreed for God's people and the holy city to accomplish 6 key things, including to finish transgression and to bring an everlasting righteousness. These 7s are understood to mean years for a total of 490 years. The prophecy breaks them down into 3 parts. 7 sevens to rebuild Jerusalem's walls and streets. 62 sevens until the Anointed One, the Messiah, appears. After this time, the Messiah will be cut off. This is a clear prediction of the death of Jesus Christ. And finally, there's one more 7 that involves a future prince making a covenant and then bringing sacrifice to a halt. This is incredibly specific. It's a prophetic timetable for the coming of the Messiah and the ultimate redemption of God's people. It's a powerful statement that God is in complete control of history, from the rise and fall of the empires to the precise timing of His Son's arrival on earth. So what do we do with these chapters, and what do they teach us when we look at them all together? Chapter 7 gives us a big picture. It's a grand scope of history showing all the earthly powers are temporary, and God will establish a permanent, eternal kingdom through the Son of Man. Chapter 8 zooms in and it provides us specific details on 2 of those empires, the Medo-Persians and the Greeks, revealing a figure of severe persecution. It confirms that God is at work, even in the midst of unimaginable suffering. And chapter 9 brings it all together with a beautiful prayer of repentance and a jaw-dropping prophecy. It shows that God not only hears the prayers of His people, but also He has a perfect, predetermined plan for the future, culminating in the ministry and death of the future return of the Messiah. It shows that God not only hears the prayers of His people, but He also has a perfect, predetermined plan for the future, culminating in the ministry, death, and future return of the Messiah. All 3 of these chapters, Daniel is a witness to these incredible visions. But he's not the hero, God is. And through Daniel, God gives us a message of hope. A message that no matter how chaotic or frightening the world seems, we can rest assured that God is sovereign. He is in control. And the final kingdom, the one that will last forever, is His. Well, that's our deep dive into Daniel chapters 7, 8, and 9. I hope it's been as powerful for you as it was for me. Please feel free to hit that like button and subscribe, and share this with a friend. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are any of these incredible prophecies eye-opening to you? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.